Hi everyone! Welcome back to Mr. Yacht Plays Final Fantasy IX. I went ahead and restricted my usage of the speed up feature that we have on the PS4 version, so it is easier for folks to follow along at certain parts. Also, the game is harder to navigate at hyperspeed, so I want to avoid using it in these moments. As a reminder, we are continuing on our journey of obtaining Excalibur 2, perfect stats, and completing 100% of the game. In our last video, we met Zidane, our tailed thief friend, Vivi, the little black mage, Garnet, the princess of Alexandria, and Steiner, the knight assigned to protect Garnet. From our last video, Steiner is on the hunt to locate Zidane and Garnet. What we want to do prior to locating them is talk to the Knights of Pluto with Steiner. So in this part, you'll see me talk to a knight running in a hallway, one knight in a kitchen, one knight in a library, one knight by the water, one knight talking to a soldier, and one knight in the tower. After talking to everyone and talking to the knight in the tower again, we are given an elixir. From there, we're going to climb the tower, and then chaos will ensue. So I decided, hey, let's not speed up the game here. Let's just do, let it be casual and run through. That way we can have a little bit more mental capacity for the rest of the run here. Thanks so much for joining me on another video. I hope you enjoyed the first part, and I hope you look forward to seeing the rest of Final Fantasy IX unfold as we continue. So from here, we are actually climbing the tower and talking to our final knight. And then after that, he confirms, yes, you talked to these named knights. Awesome, you're great, here's an elixir. And then we're gonna climb up the rest of the stairs. At this point, chaos will ensue as Zidane and Garnet are running around. And then Garnet actually leaps off the tower, and the two crash through the ceiling of another building. Don't worry, no one was harmed. As Garnet continues to flee from Zidane, we actually optimize Zidane's equipment for upcoming fights. We meet Ruby, who's just another character in the game. And then we're gonna run down the stairs here, and Zidane is finally introduced to Garnet. Interestingly enough, Garnet actually asks Zidane to kidnap her so she can get away from Alexandria. Good news, that was our plan all along, so Zidane agrees, and then Senna helps the two escape. Hey, come with me, jump down this hole. Cool. Once they do that, a Pluto Knight, aka Blank, tricks Steiner so he cannot catch up to the fleeing duo. Awesome. Also, Zidane mentions how athletic Garnet is. Yay for him, yay for her. And so, from here, what we're actually going to do is, this is the engine, and we have the ability to turn the engine wheel to the left or to the right. Good news, if you do both, 2 different treasure chests will drop from the ceiling. So with that said, go ahead and twist it, and then we will run along and collect the treasure chests from there, and continue through the story. Ta-da! It's like magic, really. Now at this point, surprise! Steiner's here. We need to protect Garnet from him, so we get into a fight. Yay. What we do here is we're actually going to steal Steiner's leather hat and silk shirt. And then all we have to do is attack him until the fight transitions and ultimately ends. Because back at the beginning, there was something specific that Blank was doing with the knight outfit, and you'll see that unfold. pretty soon. So he destroys the suit, and unfortunately for Steiner, he hates the Oglops. And that's what pops out of the suit. This gives enough time for Zidane and Garnet to run away. And then we see the story that we were part of in the play continue, where King Leo, aka Baku, captures Marcus. Oh no. Again, it's just a play. Nothing terrible will happen to Marcus. Or maybe something will. The king mentions that Marcus will be killed. Oh no. So what are Garnet and Zidane going to do? Well, Cinna says, hey, get on this thing. Steiner's like, no, I'm going to go too. So now everyone goes up onto the stage. And now's our chance to improvise. They weren't expecting to see Cornelia, who is now played by Garnet in the story. So Marcus and Cornelia, they are lovers. Steiner's like, what is going on? Unfortunately, Steiner doesn't really understand. So they're having their part, and then King Leo really doesn't agree with them being in love and says that she should marry the loyal knight Steiner. Steiner, of course, being unaware, just completely freaks out. Like, you know, he can't marry the princess. So Marcus does not agree with that at all and attempts to stab King Leo. Unfortunately, he stabs Cornelia, and then he stabs himself. Very sad. Since the Rat Boy and Vivi snuck into the play, they get chased around by the Knights of Pluto. Vivi winds up actually on the stage, attempts to defend himself, and then accidentally catches Garnet's robe on fire, and she reveals herself to everyone. She still doesn't want Steiner to take her away, so we get into another fight. This one's actually even easier. All we have to do is have the characters knock themselves out, except for Garnet, and that's going to advance us into the next part of the story. But, you know, now that Queen Brane knows that Garnet is here, the ship attempts to fly up, and then she shoots an actual bomb, literally a bomb, at the party. So Final Fantasy, very common enemy is called the bomb. It grows bigger, and then it explodes. In this fight, easy enough. We knock everyone out again. Steiner does not attack Garnet. I show quickly the different summons and white magic she has, because she's a summoner. And then once the bomb gets big enough, it actually blows up the ship. Queen Brane loves that. Like, woohoo, I blew up their ship, yeah. Even though, you know, her daughter's on the ship. Well, good news for her, she has a couple of henchmen to... Horn and Thorn actually inform us all that they have a creation that's ready to go and capture Garnet. So now, something's going to be stalking us to get Garnet back. Fun. Unfortunately for our lovely troop, the Prima Vista ship crashed in the forest. So we kind of have to figure out where everyone went, what we can do. Oh boy. Maybe we have a couple dead people, which is really unfortunate. But hey, that's how it goes. In the meantime, we are introduced to active time events, or ATEs. When we see these, it just adds additional information related to the game story. From a 100% perspective, we do need to watch the ATEs. Some are not optional, they'll just happen automatically. So, for this run, I'm actually going to use the speed up feature through the optional ones and some of the other ATEs, just so the dialogue is passed through. And then I'll let you know about the more comedic ATEs when they show up. Reviewing the ATE, save the game, and we go into our next segment. Thanks, Moscow, the Moogle. So what happened to Garnet? Based on the ATE. Let's go into the forest and find out. At this point, I'm also going to start using safe travel as well as speed up. Safe travel prevents random encounters, but does not prevent forced encounters. This will help minimize extra battles that would make it harder to reach the Excalibur 2 12-hour mark. And in the Evil Forest, we find out what happened. Garnet is captured by Prison Cage. Time to help her get out. At this point, we are introduced to our limit break version for Final Fantasy IX. This game uses a concept called trance. So there's a meter below the ATB bar for our characters. This fills up as we take damage and gives us tremendous power and special attacks. For Zen, as you saw, we use free energy through an ability or attack called Dime. So it's different for every character, but Zidane specifically gets that. We do lots of damage with free energy, attack Prison Cage twice, and then we win the fight. But one thing to keep in mind is trance can take a lot of time with the transformation in and transformation out, so we will try to keep the character meters in mind in the future so we don't just like randomly transform in a fight. After the Prison Cage flees, we're good, right? Garnet's disappeared though, so probably have to find her. But unfortunately, it comes back and it picks up Vivi. Good news for us. Although Vivi was captured, he's a black mage. So you know what that means? That's right. Vivi can attack with fire. Woohoo! In this fight, we do have a chance to steal from the Prison Cage, so this time around I am going to steal the leather wrist and the broadsword. Then I'm going to take out the enemy. So normally in these parts, like this is why I start to do like the speed up feature, because if it's just like slow attacks that are coming through, speeding up the fights just makes it easier to get through them, especially some of the ones that I would say are more like scripted. So in this one, it's not really a hard fight, but it's just a lot of steal, then attack, nothing special, not a lot of planning involved. But yay, we won. But unfortunately for us, the Prison Cage actually spits out a poison. Zidane dodges it, Vivi and Steiner get hit by it. So probably should take care of them before we go back to find Garnet, right? So Vivi's in bed, Steiner gets put in a room, they both get to drink a nasty potion, yay. And now here's just a little movement segment. So Baku and Zidane get into a little argument. They don't agree with what we should do with the people. So Zidane's going to go off on his own. Fine. Every room in the Prima Vista has treasure, and there are also 3 active time events that we need to watch here. So we watch the first one where Steiner finds a doll that looks like Garnet. That's the doll that was used in the diorama. We also see that Ruby is left all alone after we met her very briefly. And finally, Senna, who's looking for that same doll that Steiner is playing with in the room. Poor Senna. He might never reunite with his dolly. From here, collect more treasure, and we're actually going to talk to our buddy Vivi. He did a good job helping us out with that Prison Cage. Yay! Sorry, Vivi. Hope you feel better. From there, Zidane is now thinking about Garnet when he first ran into her. What a strange girl. Hope she's okay. We'll find her. We're gonna go find her. So now Blank wants us to talk to Baku, I guess. So we're gonna collect some more items, and then we're gonna meet up with Baku. And you can see, like, especially with the 100% mindset, like, there's a lot of stuff out there that we can get that will be really helpful for the future. So just knowing the exploration and where things are can really help out a lot, especially with like, hey, you found this, we'll say silk shirt. That can come in handy. So here, Zidane and Baku have a not-so-friendly discussion, and they decide they're going to get into a fight. Because, fighting is the resolution for everything. I do want to steal in this fight, so for here, I actually want to steal the iron sword that Baku has, but be careful because Baku can kill you here. So you can get a game over if he knocks you out. Good news for me, I actually get the iron sword on the first steal, so that is fantastic. So I can actually finish the fight without having to heal myself or spend extra time trying to steal in the first place. And of course, this fight ends after 3 attacks, so Baku really only hit me twice. And the number of hits really doesn't matter because we're going to get a heal later. Baku's pretty happy about our fight and gives me a happy punch to the gut. Sounded painful, didn't it? Okay. So Zidane can't do it on his own. He decides to get the Rust Bucket Steiner. Yay. Steiner and Zidane really don't see eye to eye, like, ever. Also, go back into the room to get his treasure, and then we're going to go get Vivi. Hey, buddy, we're going to need you to help us out. Come on, it's time to go rescue the princess. And then Steiner and Vivi actually talk about a new attack style called Sword Magic. That's going to be pretty helpful later. But here we go. Now is our time to get out and find Garnet. So we meet up with Blank. He's actually going to be super nice and give us the medicine that can help cure Garnet, just in case she's poisoned or whatever. As we leave the Prima Vista, we get our lovely little Phoenix down. I actually choose not to save here because there's a save coming up. And then, conveniently enough, why not watch another ATE? Hey, you gotta have music when things are grim, right? We're gonna continue deeper into the forest, and here you go. So we're at a lovely little hot spring, or is it a hot spring? I don't know. It's just a spring, I guess. And so now we actually see a conversation between Baku and Blank actually receives a world map from Baku, and it sounds like we're heading to Lindblum without Baku and friends? We'll see. Before I move forward, I optimize Steiner and Vivi. This just equips their best, we'll say air quote, best equipment for now. I do some magnet letter activity where we deliver the letter to Monty, we read the letter that Monty received, and then we actually get a letter from Stiltskin, which is like the most famous Moogle ever. And then we save our game. Woohoo! Good news with this save, I actually did not have to restart here because my next segment was relatively flawless. I got all the things I wanted to, but I still go ahead and I check my game time just to see if I'm on track. But 25 minutes is like way further than I'm supposed to be because of the benefit of the PS4. And then there, that looks scary. But we're pretty close, okay? So as we get to the deepest part of our journey, we of course run into our first real boss of the game, Plant Brain. There is an opportunity to steal here, but because of the party stats and our need to go fast, I actually just opt for damage instead. Good thing about this fight, there are 2 phases. First phase, we can end it by simply knocking out Zidane, and here I actually was able to conveniently not get attacked by the boss. It just did a pollen attack which blinds us. So once Blank comes in, the ATB gets reset, and I meant to do Steiner first, but it's okay. So I wind up doing Fire with Vivi and then Sword Magic Fire with Steiner, and Steiner would have actually been able to one-hit the boss because I equipped the Iron Sword on him. Cool. So yay, we got our first boss down, and we got Garnet back. Uh-oh. But now these plant creatures are after us. Looks like we have some running to do. So before that, I'm actually going to take off Blank's equipment, and I'm going to take away his Iron Sword and give him a Broadsword. That just gives me extra gear for later. Woohoo! Yay! And so as we run through the forest, we actually are going to run into our first forced experience fight. This means you can't run away from it, you have to kill. What we have to do here is, in order to maintain the perfect stats rule, we have to find 2 plant enemies here. Cannot have more than that. If more than 2 plants spawn, this part has to be reset. We have to redo it because 3 plant enemies will cause Blank, Vivi, and Steiner to level up, and we can't do that yet. We don't have their best gear. Good thing we found 2, and the fight is easy. Either Vivi kills them all with fire, or Blank and Steiner attack 1 each. But on the victory screen, the next level amount was 16. We gained 14. So we were very close to hitting the level up. And thankfully, with Zidane being knocked out, he is still at 16 experience to level up. Might come in handy. So after the fight, our party runs to the forest. There's a cutscene. And Zidane says, hey, Blank, take care of everyone. Unfortunately for Zidane, Blank has other things in mind. He actually helps everyone escape. And as they're fleeing through the forest actually petrifies. So Blank didn't make it out. He got petrified with the forest. We rest at a tent. And now things are kind of sad. But it's okay. We have to continue on. Monty pops up. We see an ATE where we can learn stuff about the game, but I don't need to. So I skip that. And then Monty gives us a Moogle flute, which can help us save on the overworld. Cool. So now, we're actually near the end of our segment. This is lots of activity that we had to do. So we're going to run to the ice cave, see some events that go down, and then we're going to leave the ice cave and save. And the reason why I'm stopping it here is because we're at a good length, and the ice cave is like a pivot moment where there's a lot of bad things that can happen in the ice cave. So we will see that in the next run. But that is my conversational walkthrough of what I'm doing with Final Fantasy IX. Thanks so much for joining on this video. Don't forget to like and comment your thoughts, subscribe for more, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!